Welcome to the show.
Yeah, okay. That's there you go. Here's the three books. All right, go ahead and put that in the back. Yeah, there you go.
Here we are.
All right. Well, welcome, John Russell.
Thank you. Thank you,
The
Ron. Thank
real,
you,
the,
Bobby. I'm happy to be here, man.
the
Yes,
real, the real John Russell, not the AI character.
The real John Russell, the real deal.
I like that message I saw on your page, and you posted the post about the AI, uh,
Yeah,
and talking about in case anybody infringes upon your rights, then you got a lawyer who'll take care of that,
I do. I
and that's
do.
good. I think
Yeah,
we all
and
kind of need that.
there's so many famous authors getting ripped off by AI now.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness!
Jane Friedman, who's well known in the writing community, she had several books put up on. Hello, Julie. She had several books put up on Amazon under her name that she had not written.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's happening to a lot of people, and so it's
And yeah, and if you're taking this kind of stuff serious,
yeah,
and then you get sued for some kind of crazy thing that they put, you know,
exactly, that
like
they
wait a
wrote
minute,
under your name. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
So
not
it's
fair.
I'm a member of the Authors Guild. I'm a professional member of the Authors Guild, and the Authors Guild is doing a lot of work to sue AI and to sue the people that are putting out all this false content and things. And
Yeah,
it's necessary, in this day and time. I'm glad the Authors Guild has our back and working on stuff like that.
yeah, that's good. With the music now, I finally found some sources of music that I can use without getting any copyright stuff.
Yeah,
And I found that they changed the rules on YouTube library. Now I was using that at first, but they didn't quite have that all set yet. So
hmm,
I was still getting copyright notices when I was using YouTube library, right?
yeah, yeah,
Well, they changed that. They finally adjusted that now, and now I haven't gotten copyrighted yet.
yeah.
And I also was using Meta Music, but then I'm going to sign up on another platform. But I'm going to ask some people that might want to join in on this project. It just costs money.
Yeah,
Okay. The Epidemic Sound, which is owned by Meta and Facebook, the sound company, if you use their platform, okay, you pay so much a year for the process.
hmm,
You can use it for commercialized. You can use it on your channels without getting copyright, all that stuff, which I
right,
have
right.
always said I'll pay a fee if I can play music without getting copyright. I don't mind that. Not at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
What I don't like is when I pay a fee and I still get copyrighted,
yeah.
you know.
Exactly,
And I have
exactly.
one that I use that's called Slipstream. And then I have Sony Music Entertainment saying, hey, you got our content. Like I'm on a platform that I pay for a license. I always dispute it.
Yep,
Yeah. They removed the claim when I disputed it. I told them where I get it, but still I shouldn't have to go through that.
yeah,
That's putting me down, making me look bad, like I'm using their content, and I'm not.
right,
I'm trying to go through the proper way of doing things, like you're saying with the writing and things like that. Well, I don't want to steal anybody's music, not at
right.
all. If anything, I want to promote your music. If you have music, give it to me. I'll put it in my ad or put it in a promo or whatever, and I'll put it together, and you'll get out there, you know.
Right.
I
There
won't
you go.
charge you anything. You don't charge me anything. Everybody's happy. Your music gets out there, and everyone's happy. But if we do it this way here, where we go and pay for something and they try to claim we're doing something wrong, maybe lose our channel because they're being stupid, you
Right.
know. But now I got these couple of places where I can go, and there's some other free stuff that we can do that people are actually offering their music for some advertisement stuff. So their talent gets out there. And that's what it's all about. It's called social media for a reason.
Yeah.
We're a
There you go.
community, like I said, we're a community to share our entertainment and get everything out there. But anyway, I'm sorry, and I always ramble on too much. And Julie has something to say. What is Julie saying?
this is
Hello,
delightful
Julie.
to yes, this is delightful to have such an awesome guest I'm not familiar with. And she did read your bio. She is a rookie and author self publishing, looking for a traditional publisher with her next book.
There you go. So I have so many friends that are authors too, by the way. And you mentioned, Peter Robbins. I met Peter Robbins in person, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I met Peter Robbins in person. You had somebody else. Oh yeah, Sir Brian M. Bowden. I met him in person.
Wow.
He's all right. That guy Craig. I'm not sure about that guy Craig. No. Yeah, he's a little strange. The whole beard thing. And I've no offense toward you, but the whole thing about the beard. You gotta have a beard to be part of the cult.
Right, right.
And
Yeah, I've met all these guys online. I haven't been privileged to meet any of them in person yet, but I've met them online. And I was just on Peter Robbins' show. I was just interviewed by him. He's a really great guy. Really,
Yeah,
really.
I met him. I've been going to Pine Bush now. This will be my 8th year going to
Okay.
Pine Bush. And if
Yeah.
you're near there, get there.
Yeah.
Go to Pine Bush, and they have a lot of good speakers there.
Right.
And I know it's not your contact in the desert. It's not any of the huge venues, but I mean, this is for a small town area based on their little event they had, at the diner with Tom Reed and things like that. And Tom Reed's part of that in the north part of that, and a little bit farther north. But anyway, Pine Bush, the Hudson Bay area is where they had a lot of sightings and everything like that.
Yeah.
They had the coffee shop diner, the UFO diner that got where it landed in town or whatever. And anyway, in Newburgh right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our old stomping grounds. We used to live in the Hudson Valley. We lived in Cornwall for a number of years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I met a lot of people there on both the paranormal side and the UFO side.
Yeah.
And so it's called UFO Paranormal Conference, Pine Bush, and it's on June 1st this year. So I'll be going there again, 8th year. I stay with my friend, producer Bill on KGRE, and hang out at his house and visit with his mom and everyone else that comes over to the house for that time. And just one big happy family getting along and enjoying the visiting and just sharing stories. And we're not arguing. We never argue about nothing. We just have fun talking about all kinds of fun stuff.
Right.
So, and then, but yeah, I met the producer and owner of KGRE and everything like that, so all that pretty big names there,
Right, right.
So I meet a lot of neat people there. Jimmy Church, Commander Cobra, if you know who that is.
No.
No, he's on KGRA. And then Richard Dolan, met him.
Ah, cool.
You know who he is, I think.
Yeah.
Met him, and he signed a book for me.
Awesome.
Every time I see them, they're selling books. I buy a book. Can you autograph it? Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And if I want to get your books autographed, if I buy your books, is there a way that I can get them? Like if I send them to you, can you send them to me? And I'll pay a little extra for shipping if needed.
Actually, I have links set up for my books, and I'll share that with you when we get done.
Oh, great!
Where you can buy them directly from me, and I autograph them for you. I personalize them and autograph them and send them to you.
Oh, great! Yeah, and we'll have a time for you to shout out before we end. But now it's your time to share what you want to talk about. The whole show is about you. I talk enough already, so go for it. What do you want to start with?
Well, Julie says, can you speak about channeling Lincoln? That was a really, really phenomenal experience, Julie. I had that's when we were living in upstate New York, and I got an email from out of the blue from Atlas Media Corporation, one of the largest media corporations in New York City, and they were wanting to screen test psychics for a prospective History Channel show. And so I sent in an audition tape, and they liked it, and they came out with a camera crew and came to my home, picked me up. We talked a little bit, and then they picked me up, took me to a location there in New York, and we did a screen test, shot a screen test, and the History Channel liked that. So we went to production. We shot the pilot for the series for the History Channel, which unfortunately never aired. And I come to find out that's common in the industry, and there may have been a few more extenuating circumstances that prohibited it going on the air. But at any rate, we went to D.C. and to Maryland and we went to Ford's Theater. We went to the Samuel Mudd House. We went to the Peterson House across from the theater where Lincoln was taken after he was shot and where he died. And the really great thing about this was, and I have to back up here just a little bit, there were a number of psychics that were auditioned for this, that they looked at for this, and they chose me. So I felt especially honored. My producer, who became my friend, said we felt like you were the most authentic, the most honest, the most, upfront, the most real of everybody that we talked to. And also the thing that made me a good candidate for this was I am the poorest student of history on the entire planet. I don't like history. I hate history. I don't read it. I don't know history. I was the guy in school in history class, literally writing the dates in ink on his palm to try and pass the test, and still usually failed the test in spite of cheating. And so my producer and the camera crew and everybody, they were like, okay, if this guy gets anything right about all of this that we can verify, then it's got to be from his psychic gift, because he didn't know anything about history, and I didn't, and I don't. So that was the great thing going into to this. And the marvelous thing, guys, about this was that we went to all these phenomenal historic places, and we were the only ones there.
Mm-hmm.
They would open up for us, and then after we were inside, me and the camera crew were inside, they would lock down. There were no tourists in there. There was nobody else in there, just the docents to open up and let us in. And then the docents disappeared. And so we were in there, just me and the camera crew. I got to wander through these places at will. I got to go through Ford's Theater and all these other places at my own pace, just going where spirit led me and picking up on the psychic impressions that I was given from the other side. And just that alone, to stand in these historic places where this history occurred, was just a tremendous honor. But then to be there by myself with the camera crew, no tourists, no docents, we had the run of the place to ourselves, and to be able to tune in to the other side and have them give me this wonderful information, it was just an incredible thing. And
Cool.
we had a ton of Lincoln experts. We had obviously they had a vast resource of research, library of books, things they could go and look things up. So the things that I would come up with psychically, we had access to Lincoln experts and to vast amounts of research where they could validate what I was saying or not. So virtually everything that I picked up on psychically, they were able to validate through either talking with the Lincoln experts or through subsequent research after we had shot the pilot. And one of the neat examples of something that I came up with that contradicted the popular opinion, popular accepted history, was that in Ford's Theater, they have a museum underneath. And they had, a lot of things in the display cases. Some of the things are recreation. Some of them are the actual objects. But at any rate, they had the door there, and that went to the presidential booth. And they had a hole in the door. And there was a sign that said, John Wilkes Booth drilled this hole to be able to look in and see where Lincoln was, and perfect his timing for when he was going to burst in and shoot him. And I looked at that and I said, nope, that's not right. Booth did not drill this hole. I said, Booth or someone had this hole drilled by someone who worked in the theater so that it wouldn't arouse suspicion. But I said, Booth did not drill this hole. I don't care what the sign says. Booth did not drill this hole. And so subsequently, through research, we found out that indeed Booth did not drill the hole, that the hole was drilled under the instruction of the theater owner at the time by a workman in the theater. And ostensibly the hole was drilled, they said, so that Lincoln's bodyguard could look in and keep track of him. And so that goes back to the conspiracy theory, like where was Lincoln's bodyguard when Booth was able to walk up to the door, open it, go in and shoot the president? So I was able to tune in on the aspect of how deep this conspiracy went, and it was mind-blowing. It was mind-boggling. And I found out, and most people I don't think know this, it wasn't just Lincoln's assassination that night that was the key. there were a ton of other players, and this is in history, which I didn't know. There's a ton of other players in the scenario that were going to assassinate other political leaders and other people in the political arena, and their goal was literally to bring America down that night. That was the overarching goal of this whole thing, was literally to cause such chaos that it would bring America down.
Wow.
And I began to pick up on how deep this conspiracy went. And it's like one of the Lincoln experts said. He said Booth's finger was on the trigger, but a lot of or Booth's finger was on the gun, but a lot of fingers pulled the trigger. There was a lot of other people pulling the trigger besides Booth. So it went really, really deep. And it was amazing to pick up on those things. We went in the Peterson house and across the street where after Lincoln was shot, he was taken to the Peterson house, and that's where he died. And one of the things I picked up on when I was in there, I said, Mrs. Lincoln was here for the night. And they said, yeah, she was there. And I said, she is literally screeching, like wailing. I said, she's not crying or like bawling. I said, she is screeching, almost like a banshee. And this goes on all night. And they researched it and dug it up. And sure enough, for the entire night, she would just wail inconsolably, super loud, just screech, just wail all night long. And that was one of the things I picked up on. And then we got paranormal phenomena on film. We captured paranormal phenomena on film, and there were other people that heard it, other people that witnessed it, other people that saw it on the camera. We had, I don't know that we were the first, but we may have been one of the first to use FLIR, forward-looking infrared radiation, in a paranormal investigation, because this is decades ago now that we've shot this thing. And the camera we had at the time, the FLIR camera, the way they set it up was it was in black and white, and black showed cold and white showed heat. So anything that you film, like if you film my face would be white. If you filmed an ice cube, it would be black, indicating the cold. So they were filming me on a regular camera and the FLIR camera sometimes. And we were upstairs and we all heard this loud snap, like a big branch being snapped in two or cracked or whatever. And I said, there's our ghost. Let's get downstairs. So we went downstairs, and I was standing in this area, and I said, I believe it's the ghost of Mrs. Mudd. I believe Mrs. Mudd is here. And I said, there's a woman over here, a female figure over here off to my right. And she tells me that she's Mrs. Mudd. And they were filming this. And I said, she's walking towards me. She's walking across the floor towards me now. And now I feel her passing through me. She's literally walking right through me and coming out the other side. And as I said that, on the FLIR camera, on the floor, we got black footsteps indicating cold. And they were women's size period era shoes. And we got that on the camera. So really, really some phenomenal things. And there was a lot of paranormal occurrences that happened. I always tell people, so wherever I go, I always stir up paranormal experiences. And like people hang around me, and then things start happening to them. And like with the investigation, I stirred up a lot of things, to the point that when the recreation crew went back to shoot the recreation aspects, the historical aspects, there was still things happening after I did the investigation. They said that they would see things move on their own, like objects on a shelf would move on their own, 5 or 6 inches and then stop, things like that. So I've always stirred things up. So I stirred up all this paranormal phenomena. A lot of people witnessed it. It was really phenomenal, really great. And the focus of the investigation, we called the episode On the Trail of the Assassin, because we followed where Booth went after he shot Lincoln, leapt onto the stage, and then made his exit, made his escape. And we followed his path up to the point of his death. And my psychic input was gathering information in all of those locations. And one of the main focuses was, did he feel any remorse? Was he sorry? Was there ever any repentance there? And I said, no. Booth was absolutely, completely satisfied, happy, just elated with what he had done right up until the very end. There was never any repentance, never any remorse, never any regret. And so that was we went to all these wonderful historic places, and I write about that in my second book, A Knock in the Attic. If anybody wants to read more about that, a little bit more behind the scenes about that, that's available there.
Cool.
So that was the marvelous Lincoln experience, and it was just so
Now
wonderful.
I know that they're in a park here in Minnesota. You made it here to Minnesota. Okay, from what I understand.
Hmm.
Before he was obviously captured, and before they knew who he was, I guess, whoever he was with one of the other something. There was some footprints that were left that are historical evidence of him there with the, I guess, some political figure at the time, governor or someone in Minnesota,
Hmm.
whatever, and they're looking at the waterfall, and I can't remember the name of the park now, but it's a Minneapolis area.
Yeah.
You know, not the city part, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Outside
Right.
of Minneapolis,
Yeah.
right? And they're standing looking at the waterfall, and they have a monument there for him. It says John Wilkes Booth was here, or something like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
And that's
What?
supposed to be historical content of
Yeah.
that whole case.
What a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know, and what I didn't know, they said that Booth was the equivalent of Tom Cruise during his day. He was a
Oh
popular
wow!
actor. Yeah, they said he was that famous and that well known, and that
So he just had
literally,
in the shooting of Lincoln, he had a mission to do, and that was it.
yeah, yeah,
He
Yeah.
didn't.
Just went up ahead, pulled the trigger, and said 6 several times.
yeah,
I
600
cannot believe it. Yes, I cannot believe I still remember that line. Even every time we talk about Lincoln and
yeah.
that
And you know
six
what's funny?
separate.
You know what's funny, Bobby? While we were
Yeah.
while we were in the in Ford's Theater, and we were standing there at the presidential booth, my producer asked me. He said, "Did Booth say anything significant?" And I said, "Yeah, he yells something at the audience, but I can't understand it. It's like a foreign language."
Oh
And
wow!
it was sic semper tyrannis, thus ever to tyrants. And I said, "Yeah, he yelled something at the audience loudly. He yelled at the audience, but I can't understand what he's saying. It's like a foreign language." And it was Latin. It was like,
That's fun. So now, do you think that anyone interested in the like if they're becoming aware of their abilities, for instance,
mhm,
a lot of people are starting to wake up and realizing, hey, this stuff is real.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
starting to realize, okay, maybe there is something here. Maybe we do need to look at it, or maybe
right,
not.
right, right.
The Bible talks about divination. We shouldn't do any kind of sort of
Hmm.
it or whatever. Now, I
Right,
don't think that what we're doing today is the same as what we did or what they did in the time of Christ or in the Israelites' time in the desert or anything like that. We don't do any sacrificing of animals, or at least I don't think we should anyway.
right,
But in most cases we don't. We're just maybe we might read a spell if we do anything like that. That might be closest to divination that we shouldn't do. But as far as in general divination, like dowsing rods, for instance, even they would say those were divination. But
yeah.
you know what? Farmers even back then used them to find water.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, a long
and so
time.
that I don't know how much divination that is considered as far as being evil and going to hell
Well,
for.
one thing that we have to consider, and I'm also an ordained minister, not the degree mill kind, but the legitimate kind. And I studied that Bible, know that Bible upside down, inside out, forward and
Yeah.
backward. And one thing I've learned over the years about studying the Bible, one thing, uh, the Bible sanctions the paranormal if it's within its own context.
Within the
Because
realm,
in
yeah,
the Bible, you've got talking animals,
yeah,
you've got iron axe heads that float up out of the water and float to the surface, and all these
yeah,
kinds of things, so on and so forth. So, but the Bible condemns anything that's outside of its context, and all religions do that, not
yeah,
just the Christian religion, but all religions. And another thing, excuse me, another thing you have to understand is that we have in the Bible so many mistranslations that it's unreal.
yeah,
And for example, you shall not suffer a witch to live. The word that we translate witch is actually more accurately translated poisoner. So they're saying that, and they think that the best they can determine in the context of the time, they had communal wells in some villages. And if somebody was poisoning the well, trying to get back at somebody, they're going to eventually kill everybody out in the well. And they said, don't let the poisoner live. Got
Yeah.
somebody trying to kill you, get rid of them, kill them, get
Yeah.
them out, whatever. So we have a lot of misinterpretation there. We have throughout history, and this is easy to document, throughout history, there have been people that have made their own versions of the Bible, King James, for example, and putting together versions of the Bible, different rulers and different leaders said, okay, I like this book, I'm including it. I don't like this book, I'm taking it out, on and on and on. An interesting thing, one of the most mind-boggling things is that there is a, when they're talking about the serpent in the Garden of Eden, the serpent tempting Eve, they're saying that the word that we translate serpent, if it was actually understood more correctly, the implication is that it's an ape-like creature rather than a reptile, rather than a snake. Yeah.
Wow.
So they said there's that implication. And then it's really hilarious because my wife is Jewish, and Jews don't believe in the New Testament. They don't believe in Christ. They just believe in the Old Testament. That's all they believe in. They don't believe in any of the other stuff. And I went to synagogue with my wife, and they've got the Bible there, which is their Bible, the Old Testament. That's their entire Bible. And the really neat thing is how honest the Hebrew authors are in trying to analyze various passages that are kind of obscure or difficult in this. And I remember, I remember reading this one thing, and they were trying to translate this certain word, and they said in the footnotes, the best that we can come up with, given scholarship and the extant manuscripts and the context and the culture of the time then, the best we can come up with, we think this word probably means this, but we're just not sure.
Yeah.
And I thought, what refreshing honesty, because there are so many things that we just don't know. So,
well, I thank God that we have salvation through Christ, and we don't have to deal a whole lot of. If we do this wrong, then we're done.
right.
Yeah. So, and I think in LDS theology, and I'm LDS, they actually meant as the serpent as the adversary who's seeking to throw away agency. And he's been doing that even way before the earth was formed and stuff. Because they do talk about like a council that they had prior to the creation of the earth.
Right.
And,
and we get to the bottom line of everything, and we just don't know. Every religion has its own belief system. Every religion has its own dogma, tradition, theology, and it's like, okay, this says it's one way, this says it's another, this says something else, and the bottom line is we just don't know. And what I did over the years, I studied everything on the planet I could get my hands on. And if it worked, I kept it, tried to make it mine, tried to adapt it, tried to see what I could do with it. If it didn't work, I got rid of it. There was no use to hanging on to it. And I started, my mother raised me to be a voracious reader. And I was reading several grade levels above where I was in elementary school. And by the time I was 11 years old, I was reading religious apologetics and psychiatrists and psychologists and everything on the spiritual realm, the psychic realm I could get. I was reading the philosophers and on and on and on. And so I wanted to understand my developing psychic gift and spiritual gift and the experiences I was having. And I wanted to put them in some type of context that was meaningful and that worked. And I found out as I made my way through this path that, like I said, there were things that worked, there were things that didn't. And if they work, I kept them. If they didn't, I got rid of them. And I was never afraid to go where the truth led me. And where the truth led me, been a lot of times I had to get rid of my own particular beliefs or pet peeves or particular way of looking at things, because I found out, okay, this doesn't work. This isn't. And one example of that, when I was somewhere around 20, by the time that I turned 20, I had tons and tons and tons of physical paranormal manifestations occur. Other people had witnessed them. Other people had seen them. So they're occurring literally on the physical realm. They're real occurrences, real experiences. And in spite of all that interaction with the other side, I didn't believe in UFOs. Just did not believe in UFOs. I had read the literature, read the books, seen the interviews, read the magazines. I did not believe it. And then I had a close encounter, up close and personal in daylight in the presence of witnesses. And I was like, okay, I got to change denominations now, because there it is. I got to get rid of my belief system, because my belief system obviously is a lie, because I've been confronted with the reality of this thing. Here it is. I have to acknowledge it. I have to believe in it now. So that's the credo I've tried to follow my entire life, and try and prove things out, the validity of things, or the things that are not valid, not true, and if they're not, I get rid of them and move on.
I like how you put, depending on how it works with the timing of things. For instance, you said if it fits within the narrative of that, of whatever you're teaching. So, when I come up with a little saying that I wanted to think about, and maybe you can use this, continue to make this grow and have other people think about this option. We shift the narrative to create a perspective. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So, in other words, we want to believe whatever we want to.
Exactly.
That's when the focus and makes it sense. There's a Chinese leader there, Genghis Khan. He's the leader of China, and then you're mentioning the talking about realizing that there are a lot of paranormal stuff in the Bible. Now, in the upper room after Christ's resurrection, since you are a preacher and you're about the religious matters of things like that. You've studied that part of history, I'm sure, with the resurrection. In the upper room, they were so scared of their life,
Right.
and they were all hiding in the upper room and praying and saying, "What have we done? What has happened?" Everything like that. And all of a sudden, here's Jesus standing in the middle of in the room, locked door, and everything was closed up tight. There's no way a person can get in there,
right?
And yet here's Jesus standing in the middle of it, and he said, "Come on, Thomas, check if I'm real. I have flesh and bone. It's real. I'm here." Now I'm not trying to preach anybody or trying to get anybody to think, go back and read the story yourself if you don't believe me. But anyway, the point of the matter is this. He said to them, to the 12, and I believe he said it to all of us. He said, test the spirits and be sure that they're from God. Right. Now, how are we going to test the spirits without talking to them?
Right.
We have to talk to them and find out who they are. And if we can establish who they are, then we can assure that, okay, they're from God originally. If they're human spirits, they're from God. Okay? Simple as that. And if we ask them point blank, 9 times out of 10, they have to tell us the answer, because we're asking for a direct answer. We want the direct truth of who they are. Obviously, we don't want to be believing in someone wrong, obviously, right? So we have to verify who we're talking to. And when we say, I always say when I do my chatter sessions with my apps, I'm using apps, so who knows? I consider it entertainment. I do get responses when I ask things, and so does other people. And it's amazing that I get a bunch of responses when I do this. And anyway, it's like, then I ask, are you human spirit? And then a lot of times I'll hear yes, come back right away, immediately,
Yeah.
And they talk about certain dates, and we had one that was 1902. and there were several, like over 30,000 people that died from natural disasters that year,
Hmm.
all around the world. We're talking about, So those are 30,000 souls that are going around the earth right now, talking
Right.
to us.
Right.
They're trapped here. They're maybe not trapped here, but they're not wanting to move on until they get their story out. And that's
Exactly.
what the apps are doing, or Staticom, or whatever you want to use, whatever
Yeah.
you're going to use for communication to talk to them. That's what's going to be happening. They're
Right.
getting their message out. I don't think it's wrong to do that.
No. No.
And I think for us to try to understand what we're doing and dealing with, that's what we need to do. That's
Yeah.
to protect us in the long run. Okay.
Well,
Because
that's like with UFOs and a lot of members in Congress who are, and this is documented. This has come out in a lot of interviews with people, and when when there are people in the political arena and the military and scientific arena, and us here on the outside are all pushing for UFO disclosure, and there's a large faction, and this has come out many times. This is well known. There's a large faction in the political arena of like ultra right wing, ultra conservative Christians, and they believe that UFOs are demonic. So, in believing that, they're saying we're not going to investigate because that's demonic, that's satanic, it's evil. We don't want anything to do with it. Therefore, we're not going to investigate it. Well, I mean, I've never seen anything anywhere to convince me that UFOs are satanic or demonic or fallen angels or anything like that. I don't believe in the concept of the loving space brothers come here to rescue us and watch us and help us and all that stuff. I don't believe that, because look at the examples of what happens with the interaction with these beings. You have cattle mutilations attributed to UFOs, you have abductions attributed to ETs and UFOs, all of these other things. And so we have a very, very small percentage of interaction with these beings that turn out to be beneficial. There are very, very few people that are reported, for example, that they got healed by these beings, and so on and so forth. But for the most part, to have some type of bizarre pseudo-scientific curiosity about us with the abductions and the experiments that they do, and that's at the best. And at the worst, it seems just to be a total lack of interest in our well-being. So, we have to look at these things. Our government's admitted now, and this is one thing that holds us back in the serious research. When we get bound up by our religious dogma, we view everything through those eyes instead of doing like you said, Ronald, and saying, okay, hey, let's examine this. Let's make sense out of this. Let's see what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the things that's held back UFO research in the political arena for a long time, is people that believed that it was satanic, that it was malevolent or whatever, instead of saying, okay, yeah, let's really put some teeth into this and find out what it is. I think that there's some clique in our government that has to know who these beings are, why they're here, what their purpose is. It's illogical to me that we have this vast amount of intelligence gathering capability and that we wouldn't somehow know that. And, the arguments have been floated to the surface by the propaganda machine that, well, we haven't had the technology, we haven't had this, we haven't had that. Well, I know that's BS, because over a decade ago, I was watching TV and I saw this documentary. And on this documentary, they had some of the past heads of our Central Intelligence Agency. And one of the heads of the CIA said, talking about the SR-71 Blackbird, and for the younger people out there that don't know what it is, you can look it up online. That was our premier spy plane. The SR-71 flew so high, it flew in subspace, and it flew so fast, nothing could catch it, nothing could shoot it down. So the ex-head of the CIA said that during the Blackbird era, that if you went out to a putting green on a golf course and set two golf balls a couple of feet apart with the logos up, and the SR-71 flew over at speed in subspace and took a photograph, then that when you developed the photograph, you could clearly read which golf ball was a McGregor and which one was a Titleist, for example.
Wow. Yeah.
And he said, now that's decades old technology. Just imagine what we can do now.
Yeah. How
So
our cell phones, our newer cell phones, you know.
yeah,
I can take pictures with this S23 they have, S23 Ultra,
yeah,
and I can zoom in. Matter of fact, the last couple of lunar eclipses that we had,
hmm
last year it was, I think, right? And
yeah,
we had two lunar eclipses the same month or whatever. One was
right,
darker
right,
than the other, but even on the darkest one, I could
hmm
still zoom in on the moon
yeah,
and get a picture, which I couldn't do with the old cell phone.
right,
You know,
right. So our
and
technology is phenomenal, and we have the technological capability to to capture these craft on film, to capture them in photographs. We're bound to have the technology to have some type of audio or other communication or some type of detection with these craft. So that's got to be there. It's incomprehensible to me that we don't have the capability to know what these craft are, where they're coming from, what their intents are. So I'm sure that somebody there uh, has to know. Yeah, Julie, I agree with that. We have to open our minds and have to let go of what we've been told to believe. Yeah, we do,
yeah.
because that's the thing that keeps us from progressing, keeps us from moving forward, keeps us from discovering the truth. Um,
And you know, it's funny when you mention about the aliens being fallen angels, and being demons and everything like that. I'm not saying there are not any that are that. Of
mhm.
course, there could be.
There could be.
Obviously,
Yeah.
anything's possible,
Right.
especially
Right.
with how they tell us whatever they want us to believe. Anyway,
Right.
in
Right.
my opinion, since God is our creator, guess what? He can create anything he wants, any way he wants. Okay?
Anywhere he wants.
Anywhere he wants. He can have another Earth just like this one, but he has gray aliens there instead of us.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now I don't know.
And we make the mistake
Mm,
of looking at everything through our our eyeglasses of this is the way life is. And so we assume that if life exists anywhere else, it has to be in an Earth like environment and it has to be a carbon based life form similar to us.
Yeah,
Now, look, there are the possibilities that there are alien beings that only breathe nitrogen and their atmosphere is 300 degrees Fahrenheit and they thrive there. They live there okay. Look
yeah,
at the extreme conditions of the ocean floor and look at the bizarre animals that live on the ocean floor in these virtually inhospitable environments, but there they are and they thrive. So we have to understand, we have to make allowances for, I always tell people, I say, when you ask for your spirit guides to come, or when you ask for some type of spiritual connection with a nature spirit or this or that or whatever, our assumption is that it's going to be a 6 foot tall, blonde, blue eyed angel with wings.
right,
And that's probably not what you're going to get.
right.
And just because something comes up like a nature spirit, if there's a nature spirit that is what we would consider to be grotesque in appearance, that doesn't mean it's demonic or satanic or malevolent or evil or harmful. It just means it don't look like you want it to.
Yeah,
Um, Go look up the anglerfish. Everybody look up the anglerfish online and look at this hideous looking creature. But it's not demonic, it's not evil, it's ugly to
yeah.
us. It's fearsome looking to us, but it just is what it is.
Well, it's
And
like,
so
yeah,
we have to understand that just because something is not what we want it to be or what we anticipate its appearance to be doesn't mean that it's demonic or malevolent or evil. And we have to be more open-minded to that possibility when we do these investigations, when we connect with the other side.
and I've learned that about with reading tarot cards, and
Hmm.
the original Rider Waite set of tarot cards
Hmm.
has evil connotations on some of the cards, and saying, oh, that's a bad one if you get that one. Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Learning the and understanding tarot from a
Mhm.
positive perspective.
Yeah,
Okay, and then you understand that, well, death doesn't always mean that's
literal
negative.
death.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that means that could be a fresh start. You're putting
exactly,
away some
exactly.
other part of your life, or you need to put away part of your life to move on to the next part.
And that's why it's so important. And I write about this, and I have a chapter in my latest book, 20 Ways to Increase Your Psychic Abilities. I have a chapter in there on beginning to learn the tarot and explaining to people that, yeah, you learn the basic meanings and then you have to evolve beyond that. And you
Yeah,
have to allow your intuition to inform what's going on. And to address what you just said, Ronald, it was so funny. I had some ladies that had driven, oh God, I think of 200 miles one way to get a reading with me. This is when I was young, and
Oh,
I had
wow.
just started reading professionally. And the very first card that came up was the death card out of the tarot. And both of them gasped. I mean, literally gasped loudly. And I said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And they said, "Oh my God, the death card!" And that's why they had come. One of the reasons they had come for the reading was that this one lady's mother was ill, and she wanted to find out about the state of health of her mother. And then here comes the death card.
Oh boy.
And she presumed that that was for her. And I said, "No, no, 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 no." I said, "This is not a literal death. This has to do with that, that passing away of things, making room for new things, just like you said." And so I was able to put their minds at ease. So you have to be very careful when you're learning these things and doing these things. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of study. And even then, I remember one time, many decades later, I was doing a reading for a friend of mine, and we were discussing this man she had just met, her new boyfriend. And this particular deck I was using, I've got probably 100 decks, and I only use a handful of them in readings. But this one particular deck I was using, there was a character that had like a Viking helmet on, like a helmet with horns. And I was looking at this character, and it I still do readings for a worldwide clientele. Yes, I've read for clients in over 40 countries.
Wow.
So this deck I'm using, this character that's represented in the artwork, resonates for me as this gal's new boyfriend. But I'm looking at this helmet with the horns on it, and they really are attracting me. But I can't make sense out of one thing. And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm looking at this thing, and she said, what you all of a sudden you're getting quiet, like what's the matter? Are you stymied, or you're saying something you don't want to tell me? Or I said, no, it's not that. I said, I'm just having problems figuring out this imagery I'm seeing. I said, and I described the card to her, and I said, I just can't get this figured out. I keep being drawn to the horns on these helmets, but to me, they don't look like horns. They look like teeth. And I said, I can't figure that out. And she laughed. And when she got her breath, she said, my new boyfriend is a dentist. I was like, okay, there it is.
I was fixing to say that I thought that was my phone, because I just recently got me a Samsung Galaxy A15. And I was like, what the frick?
No, that's that scam call that keeps calling me.
Yeah.
But so I got a deck of cards. I'm not gonna do a reading now, but just to show you one of the.
Oh yeah, the Lording Tarot, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I got that now. I know how to read tarot, but this is for people that do readings for. I can say, look, this is what this card means. It's not bad. Trying to show that it's not evil or not bad. It's help you understand what things mean. And these are really nice, because it has. If you look on the back of the box, it tells you what card is yes, no, whatever. And gives you the exact meaning of what every card is and what it means upside down, right side up, everything.
Right.
This is a nice deck, but I like using that one.
Yeah, those are good for people to start with. Yeah. And like I say, in my latest book, I've got an entire chapter on beginning to learn the tarot. And
now,
go ahead.
One of my questions to you was early on was about what do you do when you come to the knowledge of we're wakening up, we're awakening, or however you want to say that, and we're becoming aware. In other words, and part of my job as Errt Radio, either on the video or the audio side of things, my first goal for my whole channel or station was to help people become aware.
Right.
To share a message of awareness. Yeah. And hopefully we can understand what we're becoming aware of, whatever that is,
Exactly.
And so, again, not to argue with each other, not to put each other down, not to say I'm right, you're wrong, or any of that other thing, but to learn each other, what we both know, to learn what everyone knows. And then from there, we figure out everything, we put it all in a pot, and we think, okay, we want this part, we don't want this part. You know, we just go from there. And believe it or not, you grow that way.
Yeah,
Okay, that's how you grow. And you
absolutely.
don't put people down for what they believe in, or you don't put people down for what they do believe in, or whatever. You research what they say. If you
Right.
don't like what they say, shut up and let it go. And then if you like what they say, then help them. You know, get the message out there. You
Right.
know.
Right.
And I went to Gettysburg Battlefield Bash in Pennsylvania, of course. And I'm telling you, that was a fun place. That was
Yeah.
a fun place. A lot of interesting people. I tried to do the tour. I did the driving tour through the battlefield.
Right.
You know, they have driving tour, and like I couldn't go through the whole thing. I couldn't handle. I felt some energy there that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Negative and sad energy. Really negative and dark, actually.
Yeah.
I said, nope, I can't do it. I had to get out of
Yeah.
there fast and
Yeah.
driving through the town.
Those
Driving,
battlefields, they can have that, so many deaths there and so much
yeah.
suffering. And it is a heavy energy. I went to the Olustee battlefield here in Florida, one of the major sites of Civil
Oh,
War
you're in
battle.
Florida, okay.
Yeah, and I write about that in my first book, Writing with Ghost Angels and Spirits of the Dead, and the
Yeah.
experience I had there. And the energy is just mind blowing. And to think that you're standing on ground where all of these people died, and where all of this suffering and all of this senseless killing took
And
place.
their energy is still there.
Their energy is still there. That
That's
energy
what
is
most
still
people
there.
don't even feel that. Most people
Yeah,
don't feel it. And when they do, it's like, whoa, what was that?
yeah,
Of
yeah.
course, then it's evil. Then it's demon.
Yeah, right,
no,
right. Yeah,
no, that was
that's
John
just a
reaching out to you or whatever,
yeah.
whatever
Either
his
that
name
or the
was.
replay of we
Yeah,
leave an
exactly.
impression in the environment, and that replays. We can pick that up when we go to these places,
So
and
now,
people.
what would be your number one thing? Maybe your book will tell us 20 ways to increase our abilities. Okay.
Mhm.
I believe we all have experiences. Most of us don't want to share it because it's too weird for
Yeah,
ourselves to deal with it. So
right,
if
right,
we talk about it, then we're absolutely crazy. But
right.
now, because I've had some experiences at my house, and
Mhm.
I talk too much, but I need to share this with you and have your thought on this.
Sure.
And anyway, I have had experience. This house was built in 1945. I moved
Mhm.
here going on 7 years this year.
Mhm.
I've been living in this house, and I know that there are energies here and
Oh yeah.
things here happening. And I heard the old man working in the basement, either building furniture or toys. I'm not sure what, but he's always hammering all the time. I can hear him hammering,
Mhm.
physically hear him hammering.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah.
can turn on the light, look downstairs, there ain't no one there.
Yep.
But
Yep.
anyway, I got to see him. His name is Sam, actually, or I call him Samuel to distinguish his senior part. You know, Sam Senior or Samuel.
Right. Right.
And then I have a 10-year-old boy that runs around. Well, I don't know if he's 10 now, but you know what I mean. He was
Yep.
10.
Yep.
I seen him as a 10-year-old, but now a lot of people say, "Oh, that's usually a demon trying to get a hold of you to mess with your head or whatever." And whenever you see a child, it's not always a child. Don't believe in that all the time. But yes, it could be a child, though.
Sure. Sure.
It could be anything. Depending on if they're evil or not. Now this kid was running around playing tag with me. He
Mhm.
tapped me on each shoulder, and made me look both sides, and
Right.
I could hear his feet run away. I could hear him laughing even.
Yep.
So I knew that he wasn't being harmful.
Right. Right.
And he was just letting me know that he was here. And I call
Sure.
him his name Sam or Sammy. Actually, I call him Sammy. To distinguish Samuel and Sam. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so, anyway, I know those two are here for sure, and they're still
Yeah.
here having fun. Then there was one woman they had gotten help to have her sent. She wanted to go home to the light. She wanted to go get crossed over. I didn't
Mhm.
know how to do that, so I wasn't going to try.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that now I've had several people remote view my house.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, some did it without me knowing it, and then when I asked them to do it, they already told me what they'd seen. And then others did it when I requested them to do it.
Right.
I
Right.
Maureen Gurdzinski, don't you?
Yeah.
She's a host on her own show on my channel on Thursday night.
Mhm.
Dimensions of Supernatural. Her and Anthony Seminelli are the hosts there. She's a show host, and Anthony is the wonderful co-host. And anyway, she had done a remote view of my house when I asked her to. Now she never seen my house, never seen the inside, never seen anything about my house.
Right.
I said, "Hey, can you look into my house and see what's going on?" I hear a lot of noises and everything like that.
Right.
And she walks in and she tells me that I have green carpet. She
Mhm.
never saw my carpet before. She never saw what kind of carpet I had before.
Right.
She
Right.
described it to a T. So
Yeah.
remote viewing is real,
Oh,
people,
absolutely.
and
Yep.
that's why I'm telling the story. Okay, and now Maureen admits to being a witch, a real witch.
Uh-huh.
Okay, she
Right.
knows how to do things. She has a lot of interesting gifts, and I'm glad she's my friend and not my.
Yeah, oh yeah. By the way, he movie is, Cameron, you definitely can see the green carpet.
Yeah, but anyway, she did some more checking, and she said, "Yeah, I heard an old guy hammering in the basement," and this is before I told her about that. Now,
Right. Right.
and so then I wanted her to do the remote view because I was trying to see if what I was seeing was real.
Yeah.
Okay, because I
Yeah.
was actually hearing this in real time with my
Mhm.
ear, disembodied sound, if you will,
Yeah.
the term what they'd use anyway. And then she said, "Yeah, you're hearing it for real because it's really there. As long as they're not harming you, though, don't let it bother you. You know, they're
Right.
just there doing their own thing."
There
Now,
you go.
again, this house wasn't built until 1945, so the only thing I can think of is those are residual entities that are left here from whatever the property.
Mhm.
And now we have the historic petroglyphs that are here in Jeffers,
Right.
and they are 7 to 10,000 years old. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so who knows what those people were doing here? You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
I have
Yeah.
no clue. We have one woman that hangs out with us, Ufi. She's another author that we know, and she has listened to my digital recordings that I would do before I started doing chatter sessions. I'd do
Mhm.
digital recording,
Right.
and I have a Zoom H6 recorder, which is a pretty expensive one, and it picks up every single noise you can think of.
Oh
As
yeah.
I'm driving to Wyndham, I'm gone over an hour, right? And I'm coming back maybe close to 2 hours. I'm gone, and this recorder is recording, and it's picking up noises in the house that makes no sense at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Doors closing, doors squeaking for no reason, uh,
Yep. Yep.
pounding. I mean, Bobby's heard the big pounding that makes no sense at all. Why is that? And
Yeah.
then you're gonna tell me you're gonna sit there and not you, but some people sit there. Oh, that's just a house settling.
Yeah. Right.
Um, the house was built in 1945. I think it's settled pretty
It's
good now.
settled. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
settled by now. Yep. Yep.
But yeah, so anyway, I've had several other people do the remote views and things like that. And you know who Joey Medea is, right?
Yeah.
You know Tanya, his wife.
No, I don't think
Okay,
so.
Tanya.
I know of him. Yeah.
Tanya was in the mediumship field. I think she's since retired for some
Mhm.
personal issues and the reasons she decided to step away a
Yeah.
little bit, and that's okay. That's the way that goes sometimes. It's challenging when you're dealing with it.
Yeah.
But anyway, she did a remote view of my house as well, and she was working with me weekly. She was working with me on developing my psychic ability and third eye and learning how
Right.
to connect with the spiritual realm because of all the activity in my house. We both thought that it would be a good idea to develop that a little bit better
Hmm.
and be able to communicate. See what they
Right.
need. And so I'm in the bathroom one time, on my king seat there, and
Right. On the
I was
throne.
sitting there minding my own business. All of a sudden, the light flashes, and I said, "Who's here?"
Uh,
Light shouldn't be flashing,
right.
unless we got some serious wiring problems and we got a fire. But anyway, the light's flashing, and I say, "Who's here? Are you that woman that Tanya saw?" And
Hmm. Hmm.
and I said, "Well, Tanya saw you, because I believe that when you remote view, they see you just as you see them."
Oh,
Okay.
sure. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
anybody says that you can hide from the other side when you're looking at them, no, you can. I don't care how much protection you have.
Yeah.
If you're seeing them, just like when you're looking in the mirror, if you're looking in the mirror, you're seeing yourself.
Yep.
Same thing.
Yep.
If you're on their plane and you're seeing them, they're seeing you. As
Yep.
simple as that. And that's why you need to have your positive and good intentions of what you're doing, not to harm them in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I told this one, I said, all right, now, you know who Tanya is. You saw her when she was here. And then the light flashed, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming she understood what I was talking about.
Sure.
Right. I said, now you know where Tanya lives. And she did know where Tanya lives. Obviously, you can follow the trail all the way where that energy goes. Okay. And so, anyway, I'm minding my own business. And then next week, I had another session with Tanya on Tuesday. And we had a nice little talk. And she said, oh, you never guess what happened on Saturday morning. I said, what happened on Saturday morning? I said, I had a visitor at my house. And what? You know, like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And now Tanya would have no reason to make this stuff up.
Sure.
Now she would do regular tours of her house during her sleep time,
Mm-hmm.
if you will. And where they live at, it's not the best, friendliest, a lot of negative energies there and everything like that. So anyway, she'd do like security patrol in her sleep, you know,
Mm-hmm.
astral plane basically. And she saw this woman with the old guy, with Samuel, rather,
Mm-hmm.
standing behind her. And she said, well, how can I help you? And I'm just talking to her like she was a person right there, you know. How can I help you? I want to go home. That's what the
Mm-hmm.
woman said.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent her to the right one, right? I knew Tanya could send her home if she really wanted to go. But I didn't want to try it because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I wasn't going to try it.
Right.
So,
Right.
but I did send her to the right person, right?
Yeah.
And so now Tanya got her name. You know, on my ghost hunting app, the name Sarah would keep coming up all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so then, anyway, Tanya said, well, what's your name? And then I can help you get home. And she said, my name is Sarah, and this is Samuel. That's how I
Yeah.
knew. I knew Samuel's name already, but that's what Tanya got from the
Yep.
questioning.
Yep.
And Samuel didn't want to go home, though. He came
Yeah.
back here. This was his
Yeah.
home. So I'm not going to run him off. He's here.
There
He
you
wants
go.
to be here.
There you go.
And when they want to go home, and I know I can send them to some people that might know how to do that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but in any case, what happened was Sarah went home. She never came back. There
Mm-hmm.
are other women here that are still here.
Mm-hmm.
My ghost hunting tools app keeps telling me, yes, there's a woman there. There's this, and
Right.
tells me
Right.
all kinds of stuff that's happening here. And
Yeah.
anyway, Tanya tells me that on Tuesday. She says, I had a really interesting thing. That woman asked for help to get home. And I said, well, yeah, I asked her to go and talk to you. And she said, that's okay. But, you know, there was really no way to warn her about that. They just had to verify that what I was doing was the right thing to do, and
Right.
that I did it correctly. And I think I did, you know,
Yeah.
kind of, you know.
Yeah.
I did it best way I know how.
There you
And
go.
it was just, you know, it got Sarah what she needed, and Tanya could feel happy about helping somebody get their answer, you know.
There you go.
And then
There you go.
I felt good sending the woman to the right person, you
Oh,
know.
sure.
And but yeah, so I'm sorry about taking all that time talking.
No, that's fine.
I
It's a great story.
with that story though, in your book, 20 things you can recognize for how to improve your abilities, rather, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the number one thing that we should do if we are seriously considering getting more into, which I have plenty of ghost apps. I got a couple of
Right.
tools I use, ghost boxes and things like that. And I believe in communication with
Yeah.
the spirits, and I don't think it's evil.
No.
I guess you can make it evil. You can make anything evil.
Right.
You can make anything negative. If you think aliens are fallen angels, then that's on you, you know.
Right. Right. Exactly.
But
Exactly.
if you want to make them good and happy people, or good and happy beings, you know, that God can create,
Right.
then you know that's great. All right, Julie, I guess she has to go. Thank you for dropping by.
Thank you, Julie.
And so now, how do you experiment without getting down the wrong track? Like, how do you
Yeah.
know what is your niche, so to speak?
Well,
Uh,
what I tell people in my book, what I tell people in all my interviews, and what I've always told all my clients is when you approach the other side, the main thing you want to do is approach it with respect. You
that's
don't
what
want
I
to go in there challenging spirits,
right,
provoking spirits, cursing
right,
at spirits, whatever. You want to go in with a respectful attitude, and you want to go in with the idea that, look, I'm doing this to try and understand the spiritual realm better, the physical realm better, how that meshes, what life after death contains for us to get a better understanding of that, so on and so forth, to improve your life, and that should be your focus.
yeah,
As far as the particular technique that you use, there's not any one technique that's better than another. The technique that's best is the technique that works for you. And the way that you're going to discover that is, like, for example, if you read through my book, there's 20 different techniques in the book. Find one that you feel attracted to, that speaks to you, that kind of calls out to you and say, oh, this looks interesting to me. I would like to try and learn this. I would like to do this. And then start using that technique, go through the steps to learn what it is, how to learn it, how to get good at it, the real world application of it. And that's what I teach in my book, is how to do that step by step. Even if you've never had any experience or don't think you have any ability or whatever, I'll take you by the hand, lead you through it step by step, tell you how to do it. So find the thing that you feel attracted to, and find the thing that you're comfortable with. There's not everybody is going to look at every technique in my book and think, oh, I want to do that. There's some techniques that, through either religious upbringing or superstition or dogma or whatever, they're going to have a natural aversion to. And that's fine. That's okay. I tell everybody in my book, I say, if something frightens you for whatever reason, don't do it. It's as simple as that. There's
yeah,
20 techniques in the book. You're going to find one in there that you're comfortable with and that'll work for you. So that's the main thing is, and don't hopscotch around. When you find a technique that you're attracted to and you want to learn that technique, you want to use that technique, spend enough time with it to get good at it. It takes time and it takes
hmm,
dedication. It takes persistence to do these things. I was born with a psychic gift, and I was born with these abilities, and I could adapt to nearly any tool or technique almost instantaneously and get good results with it. In spite of that, I have worked my entire life. I've read professionally for over 50 years now, and I still study, and I still strive to get better, and I still strive to become more accurate, and I still try to understand more. So it's a process. It takes time. Give yourself some time and realize that if you're going to be frivolous about it, you're going to go in, you're going to get a technique, and you say, okay, I've got that mastered. And then you go on to something else. You haven't mastered anything. We
right,
don't master anything ever. Spend enough time with it to get good at it. And that's going to take you some months, maybe even years, just that one technique to get to where you're really, really, really proficient with it and it's reliable for you.
hmm,
And
Yeah.
if you're not willing to put in the time and the effort and the energy, you're not going to get the results that you want. So
right.
that's the main thing, be willing to put in the time, be willing to put in the effort.
You're gonna get what you put into it. That's right.
That's it. That's it. Just like anything else in life. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly
I like
right.
that. I like that. No, that's what I see now. I don't know if you know. I do readings. You know that, obviously.
Yeah.
I do. I can read auras.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
I read auras automatically.
Yeah.
All right. What's interesting was I did that when I was a kid. Now the thing is, when I was a kid, though, I'd get different answers from reading the person's aura, like a classmate or whatever. They say, "Oh, you guys have some trouble at home, don't you?" I could tell you. I could tell you exactly what's going on in the family dynamics of a person when I read their aura, and I usually
Yeah.
wouldn't be quiet about it until they told me to be quiet about it, and I was quiet about it. Uh, Even then, you wouldn't talk about stuff like that too much, except to the
Sure.
person you're reading to or
Yeah.
reading for. And but when they found out that I knew what was going on at their house, and they didn't want to talk to me anymore, because I
Hmm.
knew too much. But there was no way that I could know it except that I seen what I was seeing,
Right.
with the,
Right.
with the aura. And so anyway, it kind of scared me after a while, especially when I was working with black magic for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Not a good thing to do. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. Stay with the white magic or good magic, or be comfortable with what you're doing. Anything that's
Right.
harmful or negative, don't do that.
Right.
Stay with positive and understanding what you're trying to learn about the energies and the powers that you're learning about. Try to do it from a positive intention,
Exactly.
and it'll be a whole different turnout for you.
Yep.
But in my condition, though, it did kind of scare me a little bit, so I stepped away from it for many years. I didn't do the anything with reading auras or anything like that. And then
Yeah.
I got born again. I got saved. Got into the religious aspect of church all the time and everything like that. And learned that wait a minute, there's a lot of crazy stuff in church people are doing in the Bible, and it's
Yep.
like, why can't I do that? If it's supposed to be
Yeah.
a human trait, it's supposed to be something we can do. Why can't we do that?
Yeah.
As long as you're doing it for the right reason,
Yep.
And then as I got older and got here and started getting into the paranormal and learning about the communication aspect of things and understanding who we're talking to and everything like that, and understanding that death isn't the end necessarily.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's the end of the human existence in the physical realm,
The physical
possibly.
body, yeah. Mhm.
But as far as our energy goes, it keeps on going.
Right.
And so in that case, I started realizing, wait, I can still read people. I can still understand energy. I can still do this on a positive side of things.
Exactly.
And the
Exactly.
thing is, now I can read people without even trying.
Yeah.
And the store, I'll go to the store and see where people are mad. I can tell because they look red most of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And that just means they're angry. Their
Right.
root chakra is unbalanced, and they're running sideways, basically just trying to keep upright.
Right.
And so
Right.
then that doesn't help them, doesn't help their attitude or anything. And
Yeah.
then you see people when they're happy, you can tell, and everything like that. But could I read your order online?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. I'd seen it when I first seen you, when you first came on, and then if you want, you can read mine, or maybe even Bobby if he's interested in.
Yeah.
But what I see with you, John, is what I do is I see the aura in a rainbow bands of color from your body.
Mhm.
So your innermost color is going to be the first color of the layer. Okay. Your second color would be the middle one. I usually see 3, sometimes more than that, but I usually just go 3 deep, and that pretty much gives you a stable analysis of what I'm talking about.
Right. Right.
And then if you heard this before, tell me how accurate I am. Okay.
Okay.
If you had anyone read your aura before, then
Yeah.
you can tell me if I'm accurate, if I'm bullshit or whatever.
Sure.
What I see in you as your primary color, which is your base color, what I call base color. What the hell is that? Your base color is, well, we got a lot of wind out there today, so who knows? Your base color is green.
Okay.
Now, green deals with your heart,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
Deals with caring. You're very caring, and you're honest about your caring. You're not, blowing smoke. You're
Right.
really meaning. I mean, you might smoke cigars or whatever, but you're not blowing smoke. You're being honest with your intentions of how you
Right.
care with
Right.
people. You're very direct
Yep.
when you have a caring concern about somebody, and most of the time people don't like that.
Yep.
But if you're honest and open in your perception, and you're sharing with them what you really have to tell them, like if they have a health issue, say you better go to the doctor.
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
I don't know how
Right.
many times you do that, but anyway. So your base color is green. Then these are most common in a lot of people, and I see orange.
Mm-hmm.
Orange is in the creation center.
Yeah.
Where you got more projects coming up. Of course, like you said, you have a lot of interviews coming up, but you got other books you're working on, other things you're working on. So
Exactly.
keep living, keep doing that,
Yep.
and keep creating, because people need to hear what you have to share.
Yeah.
And Then the other one is, of course, blue, which is your throat, your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those are the three main ones that I see.
Yeah.
And your accents kind of tell it when you're talking a lot. Obviously, that would be your voice, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, everything you come up with a different book or some other kind of technique or some new idea that you want to share, that would be the orange, right? Well,
Right.
of course,
Creativity. Yeah.
and you care enough to share your story with everybody, and that's why you travel around the country to do that, you know.
Yep.
And so I think those are the three main ones that fit you. I don't know if those are in order or not. That's the way I see them now.
Yeah, that makes total sense for me, and it's very, very accurate because I over the years at a pretty young age I developed a real compassion and a real sympathy and a real empathy for people, and in exercising my gift, and to this day, I want to make people's lives better.
Yeah.
And it's
There you go.
exactly like you've said. I don't mince words. If the other side gives me something for a person, I'm going to give it to them unfiltered. I'm going to give it to them without my bias or interpretation. And if it's something that's very, very important for them and they need to pay attention to it, I'm going to give it to them that way. And I'm not going to mince words. I'm going to be very, very honest with them, very direct, like you said.
Right.
And a lot
There
of
you
times
go.
people don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, I say, look, when you get a reading with me, be prepared for the truth. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going
Right.
to tell you the truth. And the reason I'm going to tell you the truth is if you take it, accept it, and practice it, it's going to make your life better.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like I can't tell you the number of people over the years that have come back to me and said, you know, I did what you said, or I reacted to something, one of the predictions that you made for my future. You told me how to handle that, and I did that. And it turned out, like you said, it turned out right. It turned out okay. I did this. It made my life better. I made this decision you suggested. It improved my life, so on and so forth. And then likewise, the frustrating part of that is the people that will agree with you. Yeah, you're right. You're accurate. You're right on. And down the road, they'll come for another reading. I said, okay, did you do such and such?
No.
Well, no. And you're stuck in the same spot, right? You're stuck in the same position. So, yeah, so that's the frustrating part of it. And that's why I am direct with people, is because I don't do anybody any good if I beat around the bush or if I tell them what they want to hear, or, you know, I'm there to solve their problem, to give them tools and techniques to solve their problems and to make their lives better. And as far as the creative aspect, you know, I've been creative. I'm an artist and a photographer also.
No, I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I started drawing when I was 5 years old, and I became a painter when I was around the age of 12 or so, and then started studying photography about that time seriously. And so there's a lot of the creative aspects there. And then with the books, of course, you know, that's extremely important to me because that's how I can communicate these truths to people, make a difference in people's lives. And the feedback that I get from my readers is that I do make an impact in their life, a positive impact, and, you know, give them something that enables them to see into the paranormal realm in a different way than what they've usually been taught, and takes away the fear of that and makes it something constructive they can believe in and can incorporate into their lives. Yeah. And I like to do that in an entertaining way, you know, not in a dull or preachy or dry way. Even when you're writing nonfiction, it still has to be entertaining. Nobody's going to read it, you know. Right. Yeah. And so I do that. And so I've got these 3 books that are published. They've been out for quite some time now. The first 2, and then the third one came out in July of last year. I've got a 4th one finished. It's coming out this year. 5th one I'm working on. It's almost done. It'll be coming out either late this year or early in 2025. And it means everything to me to be able to have that creativity and to exercise that and to communicate that way with people, to write these books, to leave that legacy. And so that's, you know, that's an awesome thing. And then, like you say, then of course, obviously the voice aspect of it, you know, I'm altogether, not consecutively, but altogether, I've done radio for 18 years.
Wow.
And at one stretch, I did 9 straight years of radio. And there were some stations I was on once a week. And then that went on for years and years and years. And so it's always been important to me to communicate with people, to exercise my voice, to speak to people, to impart knowledge, to help them out. And so, yeah, that's all right on. That's all absolutely correct.
Yeah, I've had this name Errt Radio in one form or another.
Right.
At one time, when the phone company, I used to have what they call Quest Phone Company or Minnesota, and some other phone company. It kind of switched back and forth. I can't remember who was who now, but anyway, they kept wanting to, send us a copyright infringement in an email saying you played that music on such and such. And so I thought, well, why don't I just go ahead and put some numbers after my name, and then we'll see if you can keep up with that one. And so I put my numbers in the name and put it outside of the 108 dial, for the frequency, right?
Right.
I put it
Right.
out to 109.1. I said, there you go, FCC. It's out of the realm of your scope of your dial, so you can't really get me there now, can you? And I guess they could if they really wanted to press it, but in general, they couldn't really touch me on that one. So made up numbers, and they couldn't really get me. That wasn't
You
really
talked
airing.
about when you were talking about that, even though you've paid for something and you still get copyright infringement notices. There was my friend, that I produced my TV pilot for the History Channel that shot the pilot. We became fast friends, and we're still friends to this day. And he does a lot of work for the big networks, and he will get these notices that you use such and such a piece of music or this or that or whatever, and that's some type of copyright infringement or this, that, and the other. He said, yeah, we use that for this big network and this big production that we had all the rights to, and we still do. Go look it up. And that's the problem nowadays, is that everything is AI, everything runs on some technical robotic thing, and all this stuff just scans stuff looking for stuff without any interpretation of if it's being used correctly or not.
Right.
It's like all the people that are going to Facebook jail constantly because they triggered a word on the AI that says you ought to be in jail. So that's a big
like,
problem for everybody.
Like all the time we've been talking about different things about the aspects of the I call it the incident, what we went through for 2 years, 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I call it the incident. I still don't want to use the word that they told us we couldn't use,
Oh yeah.
Couldn't say it was conspiracy, you couldn't say that.
You couldn't say it. Yep.
But yet all of a sudden it's really what we said it was.
Yeah, exactly right.
No longer a conspiracy when it becomes true now. What, Bobby?
Yeah, I did want to say hello to Marco.
Oh, okay. Yep. Hi, Marco. Now, Bobby, you said you wanted a aura reading, and you wanted John to give you one. Or
I'll take it. I'll take one.
If John is feeling, John, do you feel like giving Bobby an aura reading?
We can tune in and see what's going on there. Not going to read the aura so much as just go directly to the reading and to what I'm being told for him. Definitely a creative aspect around you as well that you need to tap into and be exercising. There's definitely a creative aspect there. There is a woman around you on the other side, and she's standing there in the room right now with you. She's over your right shoulder, and she's standing there, and I feel sure this is a relative, and it may be a distant relative. It could be like a great aunt or a great grandmother or something like that. But there's like that. She appears to me the way you would know her if you saw her in a photograph. She's a slim blonde woman, has long hair like down to her shoulders, maybe a little bit below her shoulders, and she's slim. She has this long dress on. If you ever saw pictures of Catherine Coleman in her later years, she kind of looks like Catherine Coleman to me.
Oh wow!
Yeah, kind of that imagery.
This is for Bobby, right?
Yeah, and she is there. She says you're too hard on yourself, and you need to be more open and receptive and believe more in the gifts that you have and the capabilities that you have, and not be so hard on yourself. And there are some projects coming up for you this year, some opportunities that if you'll open yourself up to these things and believe in your capability to accept those and do those and not be hard on yourself, it's going to lead you into some really good things, some really wonderful things this year.
All
So
right.
she's there for you, and she's there almost like kind of a guardian angel in a way. I think she's a relative again. Look back through old pictures if you can. This could be a great or a great even going way back. But again, I look at her and I think of Catherine Coleman and the pictures of Catherine Coleman later in life when she was older. She still had the long hair and she dressed in those long gowns, long dresses, and she was so thin and everything. This woman kind of looks like that. Reminds me of that. I bet if you look back through old pictures, if your family has any old photographs, you may be able to spot her. But she's around you as an encouragement. And again, she said, don't be so down on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. So that's the main thing I'm seeing for you right now. That's the main focus, main emphasis. Does that make sense for you? Good.
Yeah.
Let me show you these cards here. I'm not going to show you the card. I'm just going to show you the box.
Yeah.
These cards I use a lot. All right. These are oracle cards.
Right. Right.
And I pulled these for, I pulled these for Bobby and everyone in chat. I pulled these for him.
Right.
And that's a good author, this guy here.
Yeah.
Anyway, that issue of him not being so hard on himself has come up on these readings several times.
Yeah.
And now again, I'm not a professional. Okay, I'm doing it. I say for entertainment and information only.
Yeah.
And but if something does help and click with you,
right?
Hopefully it can be used in a positive manner.
Yeah.
And
Julie, I don't think it's his mother. I think it seems to be farther back than that. It seems to be like a great or a great relative. It seems to go farther back than it would.
I like that, man. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Can you read my energy area?
Let's see what we got.
I know I put you on the spot. I apologize for that.
No, that's fine. One thing I want to know about, I've been looking at this figurine, this dollar, whatever it is on that shelf behind you over there. That's been attracting my attention ever since we've been on the air. What is the story of that? What's the story of that figurine there?
In the bookshelf back there?
Yeah.
All right, the Viking, it's a Viking statue. Let me go get it. I'll go get it. All right.
Is that with the black? It looks like it has black hair.
Well, I don't know about black hair. Let me go get what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
It might take me a minute. I'm old, so.
Well, I am too, so I understand.
I'm 63, so I got a few years to go before I get to where you are.
Yeah, there you go. You're a spring chicken compared to me.
But I have other issues I'm dealing with too, so.
I understand.
I'm doing good just to move. I'll be right back, though.
That's all right. We will be here. Oh, he's got a lot of spirit activity in that house.
I think he usually does, especially with the TV on. Let's make a deal.
Yeah,
as long as you don't hear the audio on his television, I think we're good.
Yeah, there you go. There's a lot of spirit. There's a lot of spirit energy there. There's a lot of spirits in his house. There's a lot of activity there.
Yeah. Julie, I thought she left, but his mother came up the last time he tapped into Ron. Sure, she tapped. Yeah, he's.
Well, let me see if this is. Did he get what I was seeing back there on that shelf?
Yeah, unless it was that gray figurine, but yeah.
Let's see what he's got there. Okay.
That was it. Yeah, a lot of these headphones and stuff. Yeah, I had to step out a little bit earlier today because my uncle came back and he went to shopping.
There you go. That's it. Yeah, that's what I was seeing over there. That's interesting, but it didn't look that way when I was looking at it. It had an entirely different look. Oh, he's muted.
Oh,
you're muted, Ron.
Yeah, hang on. Oh, he's got to do it. It's Mike. There he is.
There he is. Now we got you.
So what we have here is This is the Minnesota Vikings. We were here before.
Oh, okay.
I'm Danish. My family heritage is Danish, and Minnesota is where Vikings. Minnesota is where Vikings settled. Hi, say
Right.
hi.
Yeah.
Now, can you take your camera and move it back over a little ways toward that shelf again?
Okay, don't drop that bottle though.
Yeah, really.
Well, funny thing about that bottle is,
Okay. Whoa. Yeah. Okay, you got that object. That was what I was seeing there. Now, what's so strange is when I was seeing it on the shelf back there,
yeah.
it didn't look anything at all like the object you bought me and showed me just now.
Okay, what I had on the object, there's a miniature, there's a miniature helmet, a Twins baseball helmet that was sitting on top.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not really just a little thing I put on top of them.
Yeah, but
this
that's not what I'm seeing. Is it did not look like that on the shelves when I was looking at it.
okay.
It didn't have what I saw was completely smooth, without any
Wow.
decoration, without any of the metal or anything there. There was no facial feature, no
What the
crown,
heck?
and then coming from here, it looked like just black hair sticking out, and it was completely smooth. But that's the object because I no longer see it on the shelf, so that's what you got. But the entire time I've been seeing it, it looked totally, completely different. So I was telling Bobby when you were over there getting that, and you turned the camera around, I could see your house. I said, "Man, you have got a lot of spiritual energy and spiritual activity in that house. A lot."
Thank you.
And
And
so
then,
I suspect that what I was seeing, the way that I was seeing this object, and the way that that it appeared to me is quite different than from what it actually is. I
oh wow.
suspect that that's one of the spirits there. That's kind of like think of the house elf Dobby and Harry Potter. I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what I was seeing. I think there's kind of like a protective presence there that that wanted to manifest itself and make itself known,
Okay.
and just to let you know that it's there, and it's kind of there just to watch over you, kind of like the house elf concept, if you will.
Yeah. I've been told that before, and
Yeah.
because I've only had one negative experience. I had one old guy that scared the crap out of me, but not negative. But he looked freaky, you know. And anyway, I had a shadow man at first, right?
Uh-huh.
And I know that as a child of God, as a child of the Most High Creator, the one who made us, okay, we have we have powers beyond our understanding,
Right.
okay,
Right.
and we can tell anything to leave, and it has to leave. It doesn't have to be in the name of Jesus or nothing. We just say you got to go because of our standing of who we are, who made us, and where we are in the timeline of the grand scheme of everything.
Right. Right.
We say you got to go, and that gives us power because of who our dad is. Okay, so when we say you got to go, they got to go. So the shadow man that was in my house when I first seen him, I said, "You got to go. You can't be here." Right? And then when they saw the good spirits that are here, the positive ones that I see and that I know that are here,
Right.
and when they saw the shadow man, they knew that they saw them, but I wasn't saying anything about it.
Right. Right.
Until I started doing my chatter sessions and doing the app thing and everything like that, then they can actually communicate with me.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's interesting is when they saw me send the shadow man away, then they came around more and started to be the protector of the whole house.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's this old guy that's upstairs though. What was funny was two funny stories about this. Now that you finish the reading for me. What's interesting is this old guy upstairs, my friend Mike was here, and we were in the backyard with the fire pit that I built. And we had a lot of wood to burn, and I'd since cut down all the trees, so we don't have to worry about wood anymore. But we were sitting out there on a nice summer day and burning some wood. And this old guy, we both looked up at the window, at the stairwell window, you know, and seen this old man looking out the window.
Yeah.
He's seen it. My friend Mike saw it. I saw it. We turned and looked at each other, just shook our heads, and kept doing the fire pit thing. That really happened too. And
Yep.
then I was down here one day, and on the bottom, right near the bookshelf, they're looking out that window. Avatar is a neighbor dog next door.
Mhm.
Big boxer lab type dog, huge
Yep.
dog, 65, 80 pounds from runner, something like that. And anyway, he comes over in the yard, plays around in the yard, and maybe does his thing, in the yard, and then he runs back. But anyway, I'm in the lower, I'm on the dining room floor level here,
Right.
looking out the window at Avatar, watching him. He doesn't see me.
Yeah.
He's looking upstairs at the
Yeah.
old man in the window.
At the window. Yeah.
Yeah, because he looked like he saw somebody up there,
Yep.
right? And I'm looking at, and I heard something upstairs, like the floor creaking or whatever. He's like, "What?" He heard that. He heard what he was looking at.
Yep.
He wasn't looking at
Absolutely.
me. I was looking out the window. He could have saw me in the window, but no, he was looking up.
Yep.
That's what I thought. He must have seen it. Animals can see them a lot easier than we can, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
But
They're very perceptive. Yeah. But
yeah,
that's interesting. Like I say, I
yeah.
think you've got that kind of house self spirit there. That's kind of like a guardian spirit. You
And
have a
this
lot.
story about this. I was living in Minnesota for 17 years.
Yeah.
Right. I lived here since 2000, actually, so it's been 24 years going this
Right.
year.
Right.
But now I lived in Minnesota, Minneapolis area for 17 years, and my sister hanged on to this statue until I got my house.
Yeah.
She said, when you get the house, no, she never said that. 'Cause she didn't know she had this until she found it in her storage stuff. She said, I got a statue for you. And since you're where you're going to be for a while, so she sent it this way, and there you go. It said Minnesota Vikings. I guess that's why I got it now.
There you go. There you go. Well, just so you know, somebody kind of inhabits that as the house elf and watches over you.
That's
But
good.
you've got a lot of spiritual activity there in the house. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know,
Right.
obviously. But
Right.
there's a lot of warmth there. There's a lot of good spirits there, and a lot of good communication there. A lot of
That's good.
compassion toward you, which
Yeah.
is really nice. So there's a lot of light there in that home. There's a lot of light there. One thing, just watch your health issues, take care of your health, and just make sure you're listening to your body and doing the things that you need to do health wise.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't neglect that or ignore that. I don't see anything major or catastrophic. Not saying that, but just tend to your health. Watch your health. Do what you need to do, and listen to your body. If it tells you to rest, rest. If it tells you you're overdoing it, listen to it. Don't overdo, don't overstress, don't overstrain. I think that's the main thing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. And the bad part about that is the medical stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
They don't want to take care of you at this age.
Right.
And it's
Right.
like everything that I'm supposed to be getting, they don't want me to have, like my sleep,
Exactly.
for instance. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to have sleep medication to help me go to sleep. My so-called current health people don't want me to get that medication, so they won't support it. So it
Yeah.
costs me money to get it if I want to get it.
Yeah.
No, I've been doing.
I'll send to you a when we're off the air, because it would take too long to go into it on the air. But when we're off the air, I'll send to you a meditation that you can use that's going to
good.
help you sleep.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most effective things that I've ever come across. And so I'll send that to you when we're
Oh,
off the
good. I've been trying some things. Been trying some of the YouTube videos, for the
Yeah.
sleep stuff, but with the music and everything, and
This
that's good.
this will work for you. This
Oh,
will
good.
work. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll send
Yeah.
that to you, and that'll help you a lot.
Yes,
And
I'm ready to try that. I'm ready to try that route. Then since you won't give me my medication, and
Yeah.
if we got to try to do this without medication, then I better learn how to do it correctly.
right,
And
right,
I want to be doing it right, and I want to do it healthy. And I know meditation is good for you. Matter of fact, I talk about meditation all the time.
yeah.
And some people say, "Well, that's witchcraft and that's bad and all that stuff." And it's like, wait a minute. David said prayer and meditation, right? Right?
Well,
Song and
yeah.
meditation, prayer and meditation, and isn't that what they mean? The same thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's nothing wrong with prayer, but what's wrong with meditation if they tell you prayer and meditation?
Right, Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll send that meditation to you when we get off the air,
Okay.
and that's going to help you a lot. That's
Oh,
going to
good.
help you a lot.
I'll work on that too, and I'll
Yeah.
take it seriously. And now that I understand and believe more about it, I didn't think that the videos would help out much with the music to the videos. A couple of them didn't already,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
then the ones that will work, then you use those. And so far, I found a couple that do work, and I
Good.
tell you what, I go right to sleep usually.
Good. Good.
And but yeah, so no, that's good that I'm going the right direction. If I wasn't going the right direction, you'd have a whole different energy reading.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so at least you don't have a negative energy reading. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know if you like do you like crystal skulls at all?
Oh, absolutely. I do. I've got one over there on my desk right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's that guy. He's a small guy.
Yeah.
I got this from Errt. Do you know who that is?
No.
No, he's a state director for MUFON for Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah, I have one that's almost like that one you're holding now.
is this like a tiger eye?
It's no,
Okay.
it's I can't think of the name of it. Maybe it'll come to me, but
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
labradorite.
he sent me like $30 or $40 worth of crystal stuff, and it's like, wow.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then it was all because he had a coin. I had forgotten a coin at Bill's, and I had left it there on the table. I have a one ounce casino coin
Oh yeah,
and silver.
right.
So it's worth its weight in silver at least. And I had that from my friend Mike gave me that, and from Arizona, Four Queens or whatever it was. And I left it sitting there on the table, and like, damn, I lost my coin, And then Eric said, "No, I found it on the table. I got it for you." And 2 years later, I'm getting it, but I finally got it. So, and he sent me all the crystal stuff to kind of make up for the lacking of time to get it to me. That's
Yeah,
pretty
there
cool.
you go. There you go.
And then if you want one of these, you like
Oh, that's neat.
rubber wristbands, and then on
Yeah.
the back side is who we are,
Oh, I like that.
Ertlings.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
if you want to be part of our group, you're officially an Ertling now.
There you go.
And if you want one of these, let me know. We'll send it to you.
Will do. Will do.
And I got a little button. Craig talks about the buttons that he has and the magnets, and you always show off my magnet. Him and Joey are funny when they do the show on Thursday night, and they both show the magnet, and they look. I got a magnet too.
Yeah, I used to have a fridge magnet. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, I sent. Did I send one to you?
A few years back, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I met Joey and Tanya in person. I went down there to visit with Charles. They live like pretty close together. So Charles and I went to go visit Tanya and Joey, and so I gave them theirs in person.
Right.
Magnets, and then Joey gave me a bunch of books. Joey's also an author, if you don't know about that. He does a pirate series books,
Oh, cool.
and he does a lot of other different things, and so I have almost all of his books
Right.
that he's done, and a couple of him and his wife done. His wife that has done a book. I got one book that she did. So yeah, I mean, I'll be glad to collect people's books and writings that they do.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
I know that people don't get rich off it. Not if you want to get rich, don't go into the paranormal field.
Yeah, that and don't be an author. People think that authors are rich, and man, I tell you,
And I'll tell people
James Patterson's rich, and J.K. Rowling's rich, and the rest of us are just trying to leave a legacy to the world.
Now, see, I also am a gold prospector.
There you go.
Okay.
I had a good friend of mine that used to go gold prospecting, gold panning every year, and I haven't lost contact with him. I haven't seen him in 100 years, but had a guy that used to go gold prospecting every year, and he'd get some stuff like that.
Now this is from AU Gold in Canada.
Oh, neat.
These are big pieces.
Yeah.
Really big pieces. Now, when I weighed this, all right, 3.69.
Yeah. Wow.
So if I were to sell it just at the 3 grams of weight and gave off because I don't know how pure that is. I just do it, take off the 0.69, just get paid for 3. And I still get $180 just in
Yeah.
today's market value.
Right.
So that's not bad.
That's not bad. That's
And
not bad.
now, if you're trying to get that when you go out each time, you're gonna die trying.
Yep. Exactly right.
You're gonna spend
That's
more
for the
money, and you're gonna spend more money in gas. You're gonna spend
yeah.
more money in equipment. You're gonna spend more
Oh
money
yeah.
in getting there and getting home than you are in the gold that you're
Than
gonna
you'll ever
find.
make in gold. Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Unless that's where those dowsing rods come in handy.
right, they do
There you
work.
go.
They
Yep.
work. That
Yeah, they
and the
do.
pendulum. I use the pendulum.
Yeah.
And see, now those are things that I have talents with and gifts with, and they actually work. I know
Yeah.
that they work. I've used them. Okay.
Absolutely.
And so that's not evil, I don't believe.
No.
In the dowsing rods and the pendulum, what you're using the Earth's energy directly under you on your
Right.
feet. Now, if you can go I can't go barefooted because of my feet conditions, you know.
Yeah.
So I have to wear shoes all the time, or if I cut my feet, then I'm in trouble. So I can't have anything sharp, you know.
Gotcha.
You know, cut my feet or I'm in trouble. So I have to keep my shoes on, but I still connect to the ground anyway because I'm just that strong. I can do that.
Yeah.
And so anyway, in my situation is, I still believe that if you know how to operate the unit correctly, whether it be pendulum or dowsing rods or whatever you're using, cards, apps on the phone, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Right.
If you understand it and use it correctly, then it does what you need.
Exactly.
You need to do.
Exactly. And that's what I tell people again. That's what I tell people in my book. You know, find a technique that you feel attracted to that works for you, and use that. You know, and some people are going to be able to use a lot of different techniques. Like I can use a lot of different techniques. Some people only maybe 1 or 2. But the important thing is find something that works. Find something that helps you, and use that to improve your life. You know, that's the main thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's just cool. I'm glad that we had this talk, and
Me too. Me too.
we got a few minutes to go yet. And what else you want to share?
Well, let me share with people. People always want to know how to get a hold of me. So
yeah, there you go.
I'll tell you my website for my psychic readings is johnrussell.net. And then to find out more about my books, and they're available at all booksellers online, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Apple Books, so on and so forth. For the books, if you want to find out more about that, go to johnrussellauthor.com. So it's johnrussell.net for the readings, johnrussellauthor.com for the books, and people can find out all the information about the books. I've been so fortunate and so proud with these books. I tell you, I've gotten a lot of high-profile endorsements and a lot of good critical commentary, editorial reviews. I've got a lot of really, really good reader reviews. They've sold really well, done really well. So I'm just thrilled and honored to be able to get these books out there. Like I say, I've got another one coming out this year. Be another one coming out late this year or early 2025, and still more in the works. Still writing, and I do read for new clients now. If you're wanting a reading, you go to my website and pay. Right now, it's going to be 3 to 6 months before I can get you in. So I stay scheduled pretty far out.
Thank you for your time today and giving
no
us
problem. More than happy.
lecture.
More than happy.
Yeah.
Delighted to be here with you guys. It's been a lot of fun, and I guess that's it.
Well, you know, if you ever get bored and you have nothing to do on a Friday night, like tonight, you know, maybe not tonight, but any other night, you know, you can't sleep, you're awake, and you're bored, and you ain't got no interview, come on our show at 10 p.m.
I'll holler at you. Absolutely.
And if you wanna practice your reading gifts or give anybody a free reading at that time or whatever, you're more than welcome to anytime.
All right.
And
let me answer Julie's question there real quick.
Yeah.
As far as getting endorsements, just ask. There's no secret to it. There's some people that will give endorsements readily. There's some people you'll ask 20 times and never get an endorsement from. So it's just ask. That's it. That's all there is to it. Just ask.
Now, branching away from the psychic stuff a little bit, UFOs. This is a good way to leave you because then you'll have to come back and finish this discussion.
There you go. There you go.
When I
Absolutely.
drive, I haven't seen one officially. Now I have a picture of something that I got on my video when I was
Uh-huh.
walking around town when I first moved here, and I was walking around town, and my old camera it caught this thing, and I can't understand what it is, and I'll have to
Right.
show you that picture, and you can decide what you're looking at. And it's not a mylar balloon. It's not a hot air balloon. It's not anything like
Right.
that. It's
Right.
a real object that I cannot explain. And
Yeah.
other people looked at it. Well, it's too fuzzy. You can't really explain it. You can't focus it. Nothing like that. But it is something.
Yeah.
It's definitely something there. And anyway, when I drive to Wyndham, okay, I can sense energies of ships above me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, what I mean is this: before I got Sirius XM radio, and I listen to that all the time now. And anyway, 'cause it doesn't go out usually. The AM and FM radio, I use FM 106.5, the beach or whatever it's called now. Anyway, they would never go out between my house and Wyndham. There'd be a strong signal all the way.
Right.
Right, and they're in Fountain Mount. They're farther south, but it comes up here really well, and there's no signal issue at all. I get to the stop sign to turn left. If you watch my drives ever, get to the stop sign, turn left to go to Wyndham, and all of a sudden the radio cuts out,
Yeah. Yeah.
just dead for no reason.
Yep.
And I'm looking around. I could feel the energy. I can sense something's there,
Yep.
but I don't know. Now I can tell you that any given time I can sense at least 6 ships above me
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
They're cloaked, if you will, to use
Right.
that term. They're cloaked.
Right.
Okay. Now I believe, to be honest with you, they only allow us to see them when they want us to
Yeah.
see them. The New Mexico crash, 1947 was it? The New Mexico crash was totally by accident.
Yeah.
That was a pilot error,
Yep.
and they were trying to not be in view, but for some
Yeah.
reason pushed the wrong button and lost the magnetic field that they had, and bam, they crashed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what happened there. That's
You know,
what I get.
people think that they're perfect, and they're not. You know, they make the same mistakes that we make.
Yeah.
There's no perfection in this universe.
And the pilots that died in that crash, they could have been training just like we're talking about.
Yeah,
They could have
exactly.
been training, and all of a sudden we're shooting at them, and they're like, "What do we do now? Oh no!"
Exactly.
And they press the
Exactly.
wrong button, and there they go. They wind up in the dirt, you know.
Yep.
And so whenever when they show us, then they want us to see them, just like spirits.
Yeah.
When they show a full apparition in front of you, they want you to. That's my phone, Bobby, again.
Yeah,
All right.
son of
Never mind.
a.
Hold on. That freaked me out too, because I thought it was in my pocket. Like, wait a minute, where is that? But anyway, so yeah, as we're going through life, don't be alarmed when you sense these things.
Exactly.
Be ready and be willing to learn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly right.
Be open. Don't be a test subject, but be willing to learn. Okay.
Exactly.
And that's true.
Be willing to have that interaction
Yeah.
and to achieve whatever knowledge you can, and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And well, thank you again for your time. And I know you're always on Facebook and all that stuff, and you can find him on Facebook, John Russell, the real John Russell. Maybe you should put that in your name.
Yeah, there you go.
The real John
The
Russell.
real John Russell.
That's right.
Well, Ronald, this has been a pleasure. Bobby, it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it very much. And we'll holler at each other again down the road, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and
Yes.
when your new books come out, we'll get a hold of you.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll let you know when everything's coming out, and we'll have more to talk about. We will.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And yeah,
Thank you,
nice to
guys.
meet you, and at least this forum anyway. Maybe we'll get to meet in real life if you come up to Gettysburg for
That would
July.
be nice. That would be
Gettysburg
nice.
Battlefield Bash. It's in July. And they always put on a great event there. Check
Right.
that out. It's a 4-day event usually, so actually about
Right.
3 days. The 4th day, everyone's back on to go home by that time. But no, it's a lot of fun though. I went my first time last year, and I tell you, it was fun. And
Yeah.
Pine Bush, of course, I've been going there for this will be my 8th year. I've been going there 7 years. So
Right.
that's a long drive too. I drive from here to I take a break at Ohio and stay in a hotel there. I started staying in a hotel. I did stay at truck stops, and man, truck stops are weird.
Yeah.
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 So then I started going to the hotel, and that's a lot better, a lot safer.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
but yeah, I get to Ohio, and it only takes me like 8 hours to get to Bill's house from there, if I don't take the wrong turn, that is. So
I hear you. I hear you.
the one year I went north, I took the wrong turn. I wound up northern New York, way up there, where Binghamton is.
Yeah.
That's where I was at. I took the wrong
Oh,
turn. Went all the way up through Pennsylvania, went up to the north end of Binghamton. Where the hell am I? I got them on live video and got everybody trying to navigate me back down. I just had to come all the way back down the length of New York, all the way down to where Bill was in Newburgh,
I love it.
4-hour drive basically, and at nighttime, and I couldn't see what the hell I was doing.
Yeah, there
So,
you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again for your time.
Thank you,
Sorry if I.
thank you guys. Appreciate
Sorry,
the listeners, and we'll do it again.
Yeah, sorry if I talk too much. I just get so
Oh, not at
excited.
all. Not at
I get
all.
excited talking, so. But at least you do see what I see, though. That's a good
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely.
All right. Good deal.
All right. Take care, my friends.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you guys. I
He's
appreciate
gonna
it.
play a
so much.
promo.
That was a blast.
He's gonna
That
play
was great.
watch some promos first and then take off.
All right.
Uncle, I'm trying to do a show.
And remember, we're on Mixer, Podbean, YouTube, Facebook, Trouble, Odyssey, and Rumble.
All right. And do his promo one more time.
And there you go.
I like that crystal ball effect.
I do too. That was neat. Bobby, do you do any drawing or painting?
No.
You need to.
Yeah.
He likes to play games. Well, he does a lot of video games.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, start experimenting with some drawing and painting. See what develops for you.
Okay.
All right.
Start with the stickmen though. They're the easiest.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, thank you, John, again.
Thank you, guys, and we will talk again.
Yep. Bye for now.
Okay, bye-bye. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, see you later.
All right. Well, that was
Bye-bye.
that was a fun time. I don't know if I talked too much or not on that one, but I think we all had fun. So, oh boy. Well, I just get so excited when I can talk to some of these guests, and so hopefully that'll be a good one for him. For some reason, this microphone was going unplugged or something.
Yeah.
And anyway, got it now. All right. So thank you for everyone being here, and Marco, Julie, and Genghis was here earlier. Everyone else and other wherever you're watching, Facebook or radio shows had somebody watching there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when we're done, check your Skype. Because someone tried to promise me some money, and it's like every time that day comes, she's using it for something else.
What?
And I still need to pay for my premium for Streamlabs, so I can continue with Streamlabs. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, off the stream. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. If you want to hear our Bible readings, we're going to do some Bible readings after this here, I think. Right, Bobby? We got time? Get that done. And then got to keep on track. I got all the things on Notepad, what we got to read on what day. So I got that figured out now.
Yeah.
At least through up to the first book of Samuel. So we're good. I won't have to try to guess which one we got to read. So, all right, then. We're out of here for now, though. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Tonight, we're going to have a special chatter session, just running the chatter session at 10 p.m. All right? That's a good idea, too. Thank you. All right. We'll see everybody next time.
Yeah. Thank you for watching.